wanted to try and take a turn and incorporate some of my influences into the music as well, do a lot more gospel influenced vocal arrangements or piano parts or whatever. But for me, if people were to hand me a song and say, this is how it goes, this is what you do, I'd always want to change something, and I'd always want to say, well, maybe we should say this here, or maybe I should go to this note. And I have no experience doing that. I started writing songs when I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I've always been making up melodies in my head, and that's what comes easiest to me is, are the melodies. And I'm always singing wherever I go, I sing. I don't go anywhere without a radio and my tapes. And I drive everyone crazy by changing the station a million times in the car and everything else. Doing my songs acoustically has always interested me, and just the experience of performing live in such an intimate setting with that type of instrumentation was really, really, exciting for me.
We'll hear Mariah Carey shine on the stage of MTV's Unplugged show when we return with a new take on a Jackson 5 classic on Mariah Carey Unplugged.
Doing the Unplugged show was just a really cool idea to me. I mean, doing my songs acoustically has always interested me, and just the experience of performing live in such an intimate setting with that type of instrumentation was really, really, exciting for me. And the show was a lot of fun, and, I really enjoyed it. That's why I was eager to get it out there for the people on video and on the EP. I had 10 singers, a string section, the Saturday Night Live horn section was there, and a percussionist. I mean, we had the most full band situation that's ever been done on the show, I believe. So I think it should be interesting for people who have seen the show, or even those who haven't seen the show, because to do that type of thing acoustically is really interesting.
Mariah was so pleased with the result, she released the 7 songs as a special extended play CD and home video.
I really wanted to put this project out because of the fact that I'm not touring and that I haven't toured yet. And I felt that it was a really good opportunity for me to give the fans a little bit of me live, and I'm glad that I did it now. I've always loved the song I'll Be There, and I wasn't going to do any covers, and then at the last minute they said they really, really want you to do a cover. So I said okay, because they've been telling me the whole time, but I just didn't think about it, because Vanishing is like my favorite song of my own, and I didn't want to cut it out of the show. But I was thinking about it, and I said, I'd love to do I'll Be There. I was looking through my old tapes, and I said, this would be a really great song for me to do. I just love it, and the original recording was really inspirational for me. So, like 2 nights before, we put the arrangement together, the last rehearsal we had before the show, and we did the song, and it ended up being, I think, the favorite of the people there in the audience, and it was my favorite performance of the night. So now it's the single, and I'm really excited about that. A portion of the proceeds from this project are going to be donated to AMFAR, which is for AIDS research, College Fund, and Hale House, which is a really good charity for the community up in Harlem, and also the T.J. Martell Foundation, which is now, I think, AIDS research as well as cancer. When I got together with Walter Afanasieff and we started talking about recording the album Emotions, I mean, it wasn't titled then, but I really talked to him about wanting to do a little bit of a different approach than we did on the first album. He actually did Love Takes Time for me on my first album. And it's like, instead of me going in there at the last minute and just singing the song that someone else arranged and produced, or took the arrangement from the demo and produced, I wanted to be there for every aspect of the recording process. And I wanted to try and take a turn and incorporate some of my influences into the music as well, do a lot more gospel-influenced vocal arrangements or piano parts or whatever, the style of the records in general, the feel. Everything that I collaborated on with Colin Clavillis, we wrote together. And everything that I did with Walter, with the exception of If It's Over, we wrote together. So it was just natural the way that it came out. And I would have liked to do it with one person, but I think that it was a good idea for me to have the 2 different sides of who I am, because I could easily go do an album of all ballads, and I would love it. But if I do that now, at my age, what do I have to lead up to when I'm 40 or whatever? I won't have anywhere to go, anything to build to. And, it was important for me to work with Colin Clavillis because they're young, they're new, and we have a lot of similar influences, and I want to get that out there, that I don't just sing ballads, I can sing up-tempos as well. I haven't heard the first album in a long time because you hear it so much and then I don't listen to it, and when I hear certain songs now, it brings back a lot of memories, because a lot of those songs were written long before the album ever came out or before I ever got my record deal, obviously before the album ever came out, and they were written, a lot of them, when I was in high school, when I just got out of high school, and it was definitely a different point of view than where I am now, having experienced a lot of things in a short period of time. But I definitely have my favorites on the first album and on Emotions, and if I could make my ultimate first album, it would probably be a combination of different songs from both. The whole project was like one album. The first album and then Emotions came out with no break in between them, so it's sort of like it's one project anyway.
Vision of Love.
I always considered that a ballad, just because I guess it's pretty slow. And the strategy of coming with whatever, it wasn't really a strategy, it was just what ended up happening was Love Takes Time coming after that, so I set sort of a precedent for myself as doing slower songs first, which most people really don't do, so I wanted to experiment. It's something that I love to do. When I say no, I mean I know that most people who are more vocalist, they come from that side of things, they're not really eager to write songs. It's more like it's easier for someone to hand you a song and you to sing it. But for me, if people were to hand me a song and say, this is how it goes, this is what you do, I'd always want to change something, and I'd always want to say, well, maybe we should say this here, or maybe I should go to this note. And I have no experience doing that. I started writing songs when I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I've always been making up melodies in my head, and that's what comes easiest to me is, are the melodies. I'll be sitting at home, I'll be trying to go to sleep, and melodies will pop into my head. I have to go record them on my little tape recorder. It's fun for me, and it's just another extension of me as a singer. I can't imagine not doing it. I really love the songwriting, and now the producing has become definitely something that I want to get deeper into.
If It's Over.
Carole King called my management company and suggested an idea about me doing a cover of Natural Woman, and that's like one of the classic recordings of all time, and Aretha's definitely the queen, and I didn't want to put that out on record or try to touch that. Doing a cover live is one thing like that, but not on record. So anyway, Carole King said to my management company that she really would like to write with me, because that was the other thing. I really wanted to write all the songs for the Emotions album. And I was like, wow, that's incredible, but I don't know if I can really sit there and write with someone that's written as many incredible songs as she has. But it's an opportunity of a lifetime, so I did it, and we got together, and we wrote the song called If It's Over in like an hour and a half. It was the quickest thing I ever did, and we wrote it from start to finish, the lyrics and the melody and the arrangement, everything. And we left, and we actually just met and did the song, and that was it.
It's alright, everything is so nice. Take a minute to enjoy the sunshine. We're gonna have the time of our lives.